This isn't the GADcast Radio.
This is the GADcast.
GADcast podcast.
Podcast.
Welcome
whoa.
to GADcast. This is JW Hyde. We have Adam
This is Johnny Stroke of the Strokes.
and
Andy Smith.
Andy
Of the
Smith
Smiths.
over
The
there. Sorry about that last house band. The one we had last week heard Trump's speech he's making tonight, and they all just died immediately.
Yes, last week when we had a podcast last week.
Yeah, last week.
Last week was so good we didn't even want to share it.
Yes.
Except for the drummer. That was the same drummer. He was watching Stormy Daniels on Instagram, so he was the same guy.
It's true.
But yeah, so we got a lot to talk about tonight.
I bet we might.
Anyway, I went to a show.
Fuzz, yeah.
It was at the Norris household.
Was it a circus?
It was a house show.
Was it? Oh. It's
There
hard to
were-
get the elephant
There
in
were those
anyway.
rock and roll bands.
I wouldn't want a tiger in there.
Yeah, Old World Underground.
Old World Underground. Anybody else?
And Poo to Eat.
Yes.
It's a Kurt Vonnegut
That looks better written down.
reference that I can't say.
We
But
say
I-
it on here.
I miss Poo to Eat, which is it sucks because
I mean, we can hook you up.
some food. Don't hook me up with some Poo to Eat. But I hopefully
I'm
we'll be
sorry,
able
that
to see
joke was
them.
corny.
They're playing in Gadsden at the Coffee Bar soon.
Yes,
so,
January 25th,
yeah, look that up on the old book face.
2019.
2019. It's 2019. This is our first podcast of the new year.
I sent out all the mail at work today, all like the packages with 2018 still on it. It was like January 2018. But anyway, this house show was pretty awesome. Like Old World Underground, I think they had some last minute like changes up in the lineup. So
Was Monty Menace at that show too?
I don't know. I only saw Old World Underground. I met a friend up here at Blackstone. We went.
Fucking worthless.
So yeah, fucking missed the shit.
Yeah.
But,
So I know that Monty Menace is also playing at the Coffee Bar in Gadsden on that show on the 25th.
Is Monty
And-
Menace?
Yeah, that's like.
Is that Hayden?
It's Hayden, and I'm trying to think who else is in that.
Yeah.
It's
Is
some of the
Hayden in
guys
Poo
up
to
in
Eat too?
Boaz. Yes.
I think so. And
I
Kyle
think he
Adams
is.
was playing
And
drums.
Kyle
for
Adams
him.
is in.
Because
yeah.
Kyle was there. So yeah,
That's
well,
right.
I would love to see both of those. Because yeah, Jacob Haney's an awesome dude. He did all the Maggie's flyers, you know, and he's in Poo to Eat and Mighty Menace. And yeah, I just really want to see him play. Unless I have the lineups messed up, so you can at me, you know, comment. But yeah, I'm excited about seeing all them. Old World Underground was like fantastic, and it's great because it was like what 10 years ago that TV Tackers.
It wasn't that long
album came
ago.
out?
Yeah,
Was it
it's
nine?
like
I think it
5.
was like 9.
No, it's like 5.
It was
it
like
5?
5 years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
You
they're
gotta
they're
remember,
they're
like Jesse Norris is only like.
but they're youngins.
I
That's
have-
the thing.
I
That's
have no concept of
because
time.
Jesse's young. So like here's what happens is
Mhm.
like for him it's been like damn 5 years.
Yeah.
But we were already grown up, so it's like oh shit, that's been 5 years.
yeah.
You know.
He is like, yeah. Because I think they were like 15 maybe, or were they younger than
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Because he and Jace, you know.
Mhm.
And
they were
so,
young.
like, seeing him play, I think that was the first time I'd seen him play since the record store. Yeah, they were really awesome. Jesse's a lot better guitar player than I am. He actually knows some scales. He had that good frontman energy going. Like, it was solid. I can tell he's been listening to Strokes, like, with those guitar solos, because they do, like, that. It's, like, up high, then back down. You know, he's, like, going all over the guitar. But, yeah, lots of energy, man. It was fun. It was, like, old school rock
stroking
and
it.
roll. But, yeah, I think their bass player was on drums, and they had somebody standing on bass. Yeah, the Norris house was like a solid place for a show. Like, I mean, the setup was great and everything. They had free water because they're kind people.
So everybody should just show up anytime.
yeah.
Yeah,
don't-
Tiger
you're not.
Hellside's gonna play a show there pretty soon. we booked a show there at the Norris household.
You heard it here first,
You heard it
Norris
here
household.
first.
You know,
As did the Norrises. This is the first they'll be hearing.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And then of course, you know, after that, I went and jammed with Matthew and them for a couple hours, and that was fun too. But
That was probably better than practicing with the band,
Yeah.
Tiger Hillside.
Right.
what we got to do is y'all just have to come over to the Simsax, and then we can have an actual band
Apparently.
practice at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, kidnap Jacob.
Yeah.
We can do this.
We might actually have a band practice next week because we have a show next week.
Yeah,
which will be this week.
It'd be
according to
nice.
this podcast.
Be nice. Yeah, we have a show on the something.
January 20th, right?
January 20th, 2019.
It's a bloody Sunday.
It is now.
It's Martin
Yes.
Luther King Jr. weekend.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So you can we go on. Well, I don't know when we go on, but the show starts at 6 and it ends at 10:30 ish, and it's on a Sunday, and it's at the Copper Top. So because a lot of people will be out of work the next day, then that means they could probably just they go see us, have this really great show, and then go do other stupid shit.
Yeah.
And then they could, be at home with their families and be nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I've never played a Sunday show before, so it's gonna be last.
I think I did a Sunday show. Tiger Hillside did a Sunday show a long time ago with
on Mother's Day, right?
Yeah, we've done a few, I guess. Well, we did a Sunday show. Our first show was on a Sunday because it was on Mother's Day at Andy's Music, not this Andy. And then the first Tiger Hillside live performance was there. And then a couple years, a year or two later, Tiger Hillside did a show at Copper Top on a Sunday. I want to say I think that was the one with Survey Says.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
that's
believe.
Cool.
Good story.
Yeah, I'm excited about the free food. I don't know. What did you guys get? Burgers last time?
Yeah, maybe.
And we might not get free food this time, but I'm at least going to order some food.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to order food anyway.
Yeah. I need to know what to eat there.
Yeah, maybe we should mention the other bands that are playing.
Yes, it was Ache.
I was about to say, I still can't pronounce them.
We finally know how to pronounce that band.
Yeah.
Is it like the case, kind of? Like a Tachi case?
Attaché?
No, it's
No.
not attaché.
It's like-
it's like the...
Darn it, I had it right, and then I just
Attaché.
remembered.
Ache.
Ache.
Yeah.
Ache.
Atache?
No.
Then there'll also be Night Error,
Night
which I've been
Error.
wanting to see Night Error
Yes,
anyway.
Night Error and Inclination of Direction.
Yep, I haven't seen them live either. So these are three
And
bands.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock's on the flyer. Sandra Bullock's probably on a lot of flyers right now, actually.
She is.
So I was actually thinking about that. I was thinking about how if I go back and look at a lot of our flyers, I could probably figure out what's going on when that flyer was made.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that happened this time.
Yeah, because there's one of my favorite ones has the dude from the Westboro Baptist Church, and it's right after he died. And
I think I remember
yeah,
that.
and they changed the flyer to where it said "God loves punk rock."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
That was a good flyer.
Yeah, very, very fine. But yeah, it kind of places the timing of it. It's there was probably something going on with him at that moment. But yeah, so it'll be Ache, excuse me, Ache, Night Error, Inclination of Direction, and Tiger Hillside.
Yeah, Tiger
Hillside. So yeah, we're playing that, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. This will be our first show of the year, our first Copper Top show of the year, obviously.
Yes.
First Copper Top show in a while. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because it's the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I don't know how many shows we have coming up this year, though. So I know we got a lot of plans for recording and stuff, so we may end up focusing on that. But it depends. Depends on how the opportunities look and stuff. So
Well, I mean, we got to have shows because we have to at least practice.
yeah,
and
that's
the
about
only
the
time
only
we
way.
get practice together is when we play live. In front of people.
Well, it puts the fear in everybody. Man, maybe we better get a practice in. People are gonna be looking at us.
Although I'm not sure that we will actually practice before this show.
We might not. The show may be the practice for this. But we just play the set we played at the previous show.
Well, now that
we'll also be playing Diary. The Diary is a long-winded suicide note. So
we're playing that song.
I'm dedicating it to Jesse Norris because he has specifically asked for it. So
speaking of you and Jesse, aren't you doing some music with him possibly?
yes, I have already done some music with him possibly.
Oh yeah.
So, yes, this past weekend, I recorded a full 4-song EP with Jesse. And
They didn't invite us.
yes. But we're pretty excited about that.
It's because we don't know scales.
Yeah. So I think it'll be
Scales
pretty
are not my
good.
friend.
And, pretty excited about that.
That's good.
Yeah, it is awesome. Are you gonna put one of the songs at the end of the podcast yet, or are you gonna wait?
Yeah.
Play 'em on the radio show.
I
Let it
think
marinate.
I think we can.
Play 'em on the
We'll probably
podcast
put one of the
Demos.
songs on the end of the podcast.
Cool.
So give everybody a little taste of what is to come.
Do you guys have an official name yet?
You gonna make people taste cum?
Yes.
I don't wanna.
They will enjoy it.
I don't wanna. Why is it
Everybody
minty?
needs to try it at least once. I mean, come on. Don't say that you're not at least.
Every dude has. They won't admit it.
Yeah. Don't say you're not at least.
their own.
At least curious.
You have to try your own.
I've never knowingly tried it. That doesn't mean that it hasn't been in my food somewhere or something.
You haven't tried your own?
No.
Why are we having this conversation on here?
It's cool. Andy can cut it later or leave it
I
in.
mean,
I don't have anybody impressed, but
It was hard to get a straw that reached down there.
straight in the urethra. But,
you just drink it straight
straight
out.
from the spigot.
Yeah.
Don't even aim it at your face.
No.
But
Like the good old days. Just straight from the hose. It's great.
but
Just imagine pumping it out.
yeah,
You're just like,
it shot through the Kleenex. But yeah, so what kind of music are you guys playing? Do you have like a style, or is it just like
I mean, it's very like it's kind
avant-garde?
Yes, it's very avant-garde. It's kind of post-punk. I mean, each of the songs are kind of different. It's very like it has aspects of like what Jesse does,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with the old world underground stuff, but it also has aspects of like what I've kind of done with my solo stuff. So I think it's a very, very good blend of like what we both do.
So it's terrible.
Yes, it's awful.
That's pretty awesome.
Nobody will like it, but at least we did it.
Are you guys? What instruments are you guys like doing with it?
We kind of swapped up and just did a lot of different things. A couple songs, Jesse played drums. A couple songs I played drums. We did one song that was just like acoustic and added some horns over it. There's one song where I played keyboards and one song where he played guitar. And we each do, there's 2 songs where we both do vocals, and there's one song each where we are only doing vocals.
I'm really excited to hear it, especially like because I was wondering if it was gonna have like if the songs were gonna have vocals or it was all gonna be instrumental. But now that I know that like both of y'all are singing,
We didn't even know you could rap.
yeah.
No, it's not a rap album.
Dude. I mean, it's not hard these days. So if you go Migo style. But that's pretty awesome.
But yes, look for that on the Murder Boy Music releases to
So it
come.
will be coming out on Murder Boy Music.
Yes,
All right.
I expect that, and you can look for that
Murder
since
Boy Music.
all Murder Boy Music,
Murder
as
Boy
most Murder
Music.
Boy Music releases do, should expect to see it on Spotify and all of that good stuff.
Yeah,
iTunes.
go on murderboymusic.com. That's our website.
Yes, murderboymusic.com.
Murderboymusic.com. Yes. And because we like promoting our shit constantly.
Yes, and hopefully we'll have that out. Hopefully, I'm shooting for like later this month, but I'll get with Jesse on that.
We will if you don't like looking at websites, because honestly I just kind of I go to Facebook and I don't get past that very much anymore. It seems like I don't know. Doesn't it seem like don't you just go to social media and then follow links from there?
Yeah.
That's it. But of course we share links to our website all the time on social media, so I guess it's okay. Yeah, we will be making a physical. We're gonna make a physical catalog because that is really what people look at, physical catalogs.
Yeah, everybody
No,
wants the physical.
Everybody prefers physical catalogs.
Yeah.
That's gonna sell some paper from Office Max.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So speaking of paper, you're working on a new issue of GAD, right?
It is true. Yep. I told everybody that this chair's creaking, but you can't hear it on here, so I sound crazy. I hate that. You ever like listen to a podcast and they apologize about they got construction going on next door, and you can't hear it?
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, the dog's barking. It's like, don't hear a fucking dog. Some of the old Kevin Smith ones, you'd hear the dog barking. You hear Shaky going, bark, bark. But otherwise, like most things, it'd be like, sorry, the neighbor's, using his power saw or something. You're just like, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I was listening to one today at work, and they were just like, yeah, sorry, we apologize for the fan noise, because her phone was next to the speaker when we were interviewing her. And I was just like, we've put out way worse shit than that. Like,
speaking of fan noise, that's something else I hate. I hate like when I watch or listen to like live performances. The bigger groups have this problem where they turn down because, well, first of all, they have such a good sound system and good recording equipment that you can't hear the audience.
Yeah.
So it sounds kind of empty. I mean, you don't want like if you have like one guy in the front going woohoo through the whole thing, then turn that shit down.
Me, that guy.
But like. I had sold my copy of I think I had it on DVD, but it was the Cure trilogy, and my brother got it for my oldest daughter for Christmas, or no, for her birthday. They're right next to each other. Anyway, because she loves the Cure. Both my kids love the Cure, but she loves the Cure, and she was first of all she was kind of annoyed. He came up with this. It was great that he came up with this idea because she was pissed that like I had sold it like years ago, but I was like, well, it was kind of one of the more boring things, and I needed the money. But what Cure trilogy is it's like it's amazing they did this. They went and did 3 songs from what people consider the Cure trilogy. So it's like Pornography, not songs, 3 albums. So they performed 3 albums in their entirety.
Yeah.
In like one night plus some encore. So it was like all of Pornography, all of Disintegration, and all of Blood Flowers.
Wow.
So here's the thing. Pornography, fantastic, early Cure. Disintegration, most people would say that's the best of the Cure.
Yeah, that's the first one I heard about from the
South Park
episode. Yeah.
So, and then Blood Flowers, while it has Maybe Someday, which I think is a fantastic song, the rest of the album is mostly like, hey, this is not Maybe Someday.
Yeah.
And but you're watching this thing that's like 3 hours and 43 minutes long, and you're just like, well, it's impressive what they're doing, but and I mean they do. It's not bad, but it's better to watch it in fits or have it on in the background because the sound quality is really good. But my point is the only time you hear the audience is just like in between the songs, and it's like you're gonna tell me that through that whole thing, the crowd wasn't singing along with all the Cure songs. Yeah, especially the catchier ones. So they were all over that. So it would have been nice to hear the audience reacting to stuff.
I still think my favorite live record sound was the first Evil Live, like just because it was so shitty.
It sounds like garbage, but it's great. Another live album that I recommend that got horrible reviews at the time, and actually it's not on Spotify. I looked for it. It was the first live Pill album, Public Image Limited.
Oh yeah.
It's Paris au Prétem or something like that. It's like Paris in the Spring. But it's like a live performance. But I remember reading reviews out, and they said it sounded like somebody took a bad tape recorder and taped it under a desk. But it really captures a lot of the energy, and it's way better than the Live in Tokyo, which is on the on Spotify and a bunch of other stuff. And that was like a later one, which is kind of done with like the no-name members of the band or some of the no-name.
A lot of the Tokyo performances are released live, like I've noticed of different bands. Like it's just like a commonplace.
I think it starts out they sell it in Japan, and then they're like, oh, what the hell, we can bring it over here.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So enough about the zine.
Yeah.
So what the hell was I talking about? How did I end up going into that shit?
Noises maybe? I don't know.
Zine?
Yeah.
Fuck. So the issue, anyway, I've told everybody that wants to turn in stuff for the zine that the due date is the 20th. I have to have it in by the 20th if you want to be in issue 20 of the zine. I hope I said that. Was it the 20th?
I don't know. 20th is our show day.
No. I think that's what it was. I think I did say the 20th, though.
That way you don't have to remember that many dates because it's the 20th issue, right?
But, 20th issue on the 20th when we play the show.
All right,
so if I hope to have the actual full issue out, though, like in somebody's hands, because it always takes forever to get them out. I'm actually behind on mailing out a bunch of 19s still. I mean, a whole bunch of people got them because we gave them out at big shows, but I still have to mail some out because I've been having card trouble. Anyway, can't make it to the post office.
How's your card these days?
I don't know. They haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
That's
Since before Christmas.
weird for a car place.
Damn it.
People
So-
need cars to leave.
Well,
We're putting that car shop on blast.
It's because they went on Christmas vacation.
I know.
So it's there. I tried to find an atheist mechanic, but it's hard to. I found some satanic mechanics in my day.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I found a few, but
But they celebrate
Yeah.
the satanic holiday.
yeah, the birth
yeah,
of
the Rocky Horror
the birth of the Antichrist.
The birth of the Antichrist.
I think, but it's like Christ backwards.
Yeah,
It's like- Not to be confused with.
Yeah, I was about to say who's also playing with us Sunday.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I think issue 20 is going to be really good. Matthew, our bassist / drummer, is supposed to be doing the cover for it.
Oh.
Yeah,
It
so-
should be
I
some
thought-
hippie shit.
So
then.
Matthew better fucking do it. If he doesn't fucking do it, he's going to be recorded that I said he was going to do it.
If
I
he
thought-
doesn't do it, then I will draw a picture of a dead Michael Jackson.
Draw a picture of a dead Matthew Harris.
Dead Matthew Harris. I'll draw a picture.
I'll have
of dead Matthew
a
Harris and dead
goddamn
Michael
model
Jackson,
for you.
Like having a sleepover in Neverland Ranch.
It's
together.
gonna be Matthew Harris looking like Michael Jackson, like today.
You're gonna cut his nose off.
He wouldn't have had a nose by now anyway. Cause he's dead.
Straight from the spigot. But,
But yeah, so I think but issue 20 is gonna be good. It would have been nice in my head. Actually, I say in my head, but I posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't do it this year. I didn't post like these are all the things we're working on. Hold me to it. I didn't do that this year on Facebook or Twitter or any of that shit.
I don't want anybody to hold me to anything.
But last year, well, see, I like the idea of people saying, like, keeping me, like, honest, making sure it happens. Like, hey, keep asking me back. But I looked at all the stuff that we didn't accomplish, and I was just like, fuck. And then I looked at the stuff we did accomplish. And so I did list the things online of things that we did.
Stuff.
So we got shit done,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. Like, when I posted the shit in December of last year, like, my plans for the new year, I thought we were going to get more issues of the zine done. So I thought issue 20 would have been out already. But that didn't happen. But I had a lot of stuff come up in my personal life that year. Like, stuff we had to take care of with family and things like that.
Yeah.
So all that straight and everything. So I just had some slowdowns. But kids.
We released some recordings.
One thing we did do is we put out a lot of material. And a lot of that material is a podcast.
Yeah,
there wasn't any
even
plans.
have that.
There wasn't any plans to do a podcast. I don't know. When the fuck did we start doing the podcast?
Sometime in the summer, right?
Sometime in the summer.
I
So
just
it's like,
messaged Andy and then
Yeah,
he
like,
was
hey, we do a podcast?
Adam's down too, and I was
Yeah.
like, sweet.
so that's it, podcast. And that was one of those things, which we've probably already said that before, but it's sort of like the zine was that way, where it's like in the back of my head, and I'd kind of said to a couple people, like, I'd like for us to do a podcast for the zine sometime. But it never seemed like the right time. It definitely wasn't something I wanted to put together. Like, because it'd be just another project to do that and make people do things. But when you guys are just like, hey, why don't we do a podcast? It's like, yes. It's like I was already typing yes before a pod. I'm like, yes.
I've been wanting to do one for such a long time, and then I got to be on a podcast, but it's about the Premier League, like soccer.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know anything except for the World Cup. So.
It's good to have a reason to have the podcast, and that's the problem, because I know I've heard there's a lot of people who do podcasts about nothing, and they're just like, because I got lots of funny, cool stuff happening in my life, and it's like, if I don't know you, why the fuck do I care about your little life? And I mean, I don't know why the fuck you'd care about my life, but at least we can always fall back on it. Like, maybe you like something with the zine, or maybe you like local music, or maybe something, and then we can throw in our other bullshit with it.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you what a podcast is now on this podcast. So let me tell you about podcasts, kids.
Yeah.
Podcast.
It's like internet radio.
Wikipedia says the podcast was found. But yeah, so that was but we did it. We did the podcast. That's kind of a big deal for us. And podcast birthed the GADcast radio, and that birthed the Christmas album.
Yeah, which I'm sure the Christmas album was worth it specifically for Carl's look on his face at the record store when he played it.
So much, and the lady. Dude.
Yeah,
His lady.
she looked so miserable.
Both those
and
looks.
He was just like,
those two looks.
This is ridiculous. Like
the look on a man's face when he's just farted in a room and he's suffocating in his own gas, but he sees everybody else suffering. He just has a smug grin on his face, like, yeah, that's right.
What did he call it? Like
I did this.
The divorce Christmas record.
Yes.
But yeah, that was genius.
But no, I mean, well, think about it like this. Through doing the podcast, we jammed a lot more and added a member to the band. We like his JW.
Not
his
a
stage
great
name,
member,
his
but
stage
still
name
a member.
He likes to go by his
Same.
stage name, Dead Weight. But no, JW, you joined the band. I mean,
I'm the jumpy guy.
But that's how. Yeah, you are the jumpy guy. You're an asshat. I mean, asshat. But
yes,
that's what I meant. But no, I like jumpy guys. That's good. Good head. There's a lot of guys who are jumpy around me. So, but if we could, but that's the thing. So you ended up in the band. The band ended up better for having you in it. So
well, that's good.
So that worked out. Our single ended up better. Our shows ended up better. So there you go.
One of my favorite things about like playing live was when Matthew and I had those really long chords and jumping out off the stage. And I think we need to go cordless.
We may need to invest in some cordless setups.
Yeah, which is usually like douchebag material. But like I think
well, Jacob's gone cordless. I mean, he's a douchebag, but that's not totally unrelated.
Yeah.
But no, Jacob.
We'll get you a Garth Brooks mic that goes like.
That's what I've always wanted to do that. Everybody's told me not to, but I always thought that was like the perfect hardcore mic because you could just be like grabbing people by the shoulders and just be like "fuck you," you know.
If you do it, we'll definitely go cordless.
I'll wear the fucking.
We'll just run around the whole venue the whole time.
I'll wear a black cowboy hat. I don't give a fuck. Be amazing.
Dude, yeah.
We'll have the Kiss springboard. It'd be amazing.
I would love to just be able to mosh with my guitar on while we're playing a song.
We also all need to get chaps, but that's a completely different topic there.
Yeah.
It's another
assless
project.
Or not?
Oh, I'll get you chaps.
Oh, assless.
I don't. This band name has to be taken, right? The Assless Chaps.
I'm sure it is.
That's an amazing band name.
But we're gonna be the Horny Cowboys.
Yeah. We're working on a project called the Horny Cowboys. It's gonna be massive.
Where did the name come from?
I'm pretty sure we told Jesse about
it's a cowboy themed experimental group with horns.
Oh, cool!
So we're Horny
I'll be
Cowboys.
Jake drilling y'all or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. But
Jake
it's actually
drilling balls.
It's actually a very dead serious project though. I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be more serious than the GADcast has. But that's kind of it. That goes back to what I was talking about, our creativity. Except we probably shouldn't use that as an example of our creativity. But we've been able to make a lot more stuff and put together more ideas for bands and future songs. We've already started recording our fourth Tiger Hellside album and writing for our third. So that's pretty good.
Writing for the third?
Yeah, we started writing for the third and recording the fourth. Yeah. We started recording the fourth.
The acoustic album.
Yeah, the acoustic album's the fourth album.
Oh, okay, man. I got so confused there for a second. I thought you guys were doing a long con joke, but I was just like,
no. So we've already started on the fourth because I already recorded some shit for it. We haven't recorded anything for the third.
Yeah. I'm ready for that shit. I want to practice and record, get some music going. Jacob better remember that funky ass bass line from a little while ago.
Better happen. I know that's the thing. So everybody's got all these great song parts. That's why I'm excited about the third album because there's all this shit, like the guitar part you were doing. Jacob had that cool bass part. Matthew has long hair. I mean, all these great ideas and things coming together. And I feel like there's so much potential for there to just be this great, interesting album. Kind of. I don't plan on it. First of all, I don't have any plans on how the album will sound because that's just how we kill the album. It'd just be terrible. This is what unless it's like one big theme or something, like a themed album or something. But to me, how I picture it in my head as far as checking off boxes for me is it would be not necessarily sound wise, but I'm saying feelings wise. I'm talking like an artist. They've got to feel it. Artiste. But it having the feeling of kind of like what the best parts of the first album and the best parts of the second album and stuff between, because it kind of scratched that itch. Because I think the first album, this is a relative term because it sounds funny to say it rocked.
Yeah,
but I think the
it
first
did.
album rocked more than the second album did. But the second album had more experimental and like the second album, I can listen to it in one go more than I can the first album. The first album, I kind of go like, it's kind of. I feel like the first album should be 2 EPs. So maybe I'd feel better about the first album if it had been on a record.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, okay, time to flip it over and like change the track listing and make it like that. Because I stand by every song on the first album, and I think they sound good, but I listen to it and I'm like, I don't know if that's the best. But the second album, it has all this like these different interesting ideas. But I feel like we're in a better place to make interesting ideas happen and new people in there to add to interesting ideas and stuff. So, and we just been like just the Andy element of it. Me and Andy have been playing together longer than when we were doing that then. So it'd be nice to actually do an album that's not saving the band.
Yeah.
That's just like us, like we're a band making music. We actually have not done a full length doing that. But the first album is like me and Casey kind of making the band be a band. And the second was like me and Andy trying to make a band be a band and then bringing Jacob back in. He agreed to come back and record on it. And then afterwards agreed to stay, you know.
That's pretty awesome.
But it was a very awesome album since I was shitty with him. So that's how the second album came about. But it's but the second album is way more interesting to me. And there are a few weirdos who like it better than the first one.
That'd be me.
Sickos.
Five for Your Right was the first one I heard. That was like, so I have the physical copy of that one, and I have the physical copy of Starting Out Mind Control.
But you had the you had the first one before you were in the band, I guess.
Yeah.
You probably had the second one before you were in the band, right?
Probably.
I've given you like 3 copies on 3 separate occasions.
But
so I don't know.
I'm really bad at remembering and keeping up with things and time and just knowing things in general. So.
But the second album, what I like about the second album is after you do the second album, fan expectation is just like we took away any expectation. You can't be like, well, they wouldn't do a song. Oh, I guess they would. Well, they wouldn't do. Well, I guess they would. Because there's some songs that are very rough and you can hear mess ups. And then there's other songs that are a little bit more cleaner and put together. We have the song that I did with Carl and Ed on there. We stuck that on there. So that's a different sound altogether anyway. But then we have like spoken word stuff with noises and.
I need to go visit him soon. Oh yeah, another good thing that happened from the podcast is we got back in touch with Rapid Randy. And
yes, and Rapid Randy's
like part of the group.
Yeah, he would have been here tonight, but he's in the hospital. He had to have some surgery. He said he'd talk about it on here, so it'd be some good stuff. So
yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm glad that he's already got it done and he's recovering.
Yeah, that's good because but we're doing stuff with him, and again, that's the podcast is creating that. The podcast is getting us back together with him. He's now on. I mean,
because we talked like conspiracy theories and music, and then
and I would say
spiraled from there.
We consider Randy a member of the podcast and of the radio show.
Yeah, definitely.
But he may or may not be at as many of these as us because he has. I don't know that he has little. I don't know if he has further to drive, but he might have other stuff going on than you. Because I was gonna say you have a pretty good drive to get out.
Yeah, but you know, I used to.
I guess you have more stuff going on out here.
Yeah.
To come this way, I guess. Well, you know, if he comes out here, it's gonna be like, oh hey, he can go visit Carl. And I guess he could visit Blake over at the comic store, so he knows him. But that's it. They used to work together.
That's cool.
Else. But anyway, but I took my head away from the microphone.
Speak real low.
So yeah, we got together with Randy, and I mean, I feel really good about being buddies with Randy again because it's one of those weird things like where me and him kind of cut off, but there was like 2 seconds there where we were just like inseparable best friends. And then we just weren't. It wasn't anything like, you know, it's just life. Part of it was I got married and had kids. So, and then he was in bands that got bigger. We've already had all this conversation, but catching you up in case you didn't want to listen last year. You don't want to listen to the old shit.
It's like,
it's like previously. GADcast. This is the season premieres. We got to tell you where we left off on the last.
This is a chapter.
Welcome to season 2.
The season finale.
It's the chapter where the narrator
Mm-hmm.
recaps everything that happened in the last novel.
Yep. Hey, here's something I want to say. We're not going to have discussions about
Adam's soapbox.
Yes, we're not going to have discussions about Gotham because you know you have bad taste. But
I like Gotham. I started watching.
But have you watched the season premiere?
Yeah,
because this is the final season, and it's going to be shorter. So they have to wrap it up, and it's shorter. So this thing is just like action, constant action. But I have to call out something. This is a mild spoiler, although it's telegraphed in the episode that he will at least be doing this. Mm-hmm. But this is something that just annoys me about that episode. There's a part in it where Bruce, spoilers, he becomes Batman one day. But there's a part where he's wearing night vision goggles to take out bad guys. Okay, I want to point out that Batman has done this in various other things where he has the night vision goggles and he takes out the stuff. But they made some mistakes in filming this. Yeah. And these are, I'd say, creative decisions that I don't agree with, okay? Mm-hmm. You can fucking see the people just fine without the night vision glasses. Yeah. We can see them walking around. It's like they turned down the lights a little. Like they put mood lighting on and the people are walking around. He's over there with night vision glasses going after them, taking them out. And it's like I could fucking see the guys. And it would cut over to him with his green night vision. It's like you see worse with the night vision.
I wonder if it's just like creative decision. Because normally the lights would cut out and then you would be seeing through the night vision. That's the normal...
Okay, the obvious thing, which would be the way it's been shot in other stuff, and this is what people would really want, okay?
It's like think 90s films.
Yeah, well, you'd want it to be, think Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. Like, it'd go into the perspective of the person with the night vision, which it does that. But if you keep flashing back to us being able to see all the fuckers walking around. It
kind of takes you out of the...
Yeah, it's like he doesn't need those. So what they should have done was just made it dark and had it and have it from his perspective and him just like sneaking up behind people and then just like, or just walking up to people and just be like, ah! And take out. And what was that? And you see another guy in the weird green light looking around like, what happened? Ed, what happened to ah! And then he gets taken out too. Because that's the best part of like
Batman.
Best Batman stuff. Is Batman is like, it's like you get to see things from the murderer's perspective, but he's not a murderer. It's like he's a good guy who does scary stuff. Yeah. So when he grabs people in the dark and terrifies them, like we'd be okay with watching that whole scene in green.
It always seems like he's at the docks too. Yeah. Like Batman's like snatching people up at the docks.
Yeah.
Like,
it happens. But that's one of those things. It was bothering me. It's like you can see, like Bruce, take off the fucking goggles, and you can see them.
It's like definitely just a fucking bad decision.
Yeah, if we turned off the lights in here right now and left the light on from his computer, the vision would be worse than it was in that episode. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, there's 3 guys right there, Bruce. There's 3 to the left. It's like, go over. Then the lights came on. And it's just like, it wasn't that. Yeah. Maybe. Well, I mean, this. Gotham does take place in the past. That's why they all got the flip phones and shit, and he's still a kid. Mm-hmm. So maybe the night vision goggles just weren't really, they weren't there yet in the 90s or whenever. In the early 2000s, night vision
Predator,
goggles.
They did that shit right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that was Predator. That was like heat seeking though.
Yeah, but it's still the same principle.
Yeah,
same thing. Watching the different color blobs move around.
I didn't realize Gotham was supposed to take place in the past.
Yep.
Yeah, because Jim Gordon's young. Bruce is a fucking tiny little.
Kid. But
I mean, you would just assume that it's that modern day, and then in the future. And I mean, there's other stuff that is like that.
Well, yeah. They could have done that, but I'm glad they fucking did.
But they have flip phones, and they all drive shitty cars.
Yeah.
Like think about it. Think about like the police cars and stuff. It's like, why are they driving all these old cars? But not like cool old cars.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't necessarily think about that they actually did that. Yeah. I always just assumed it was in the past, but I didn't even notice that they actually telegraphed that.
Yeah, they don't. There's no texting or anything like that. They're all just.
They're not Skyping each other.
Yeah,
There's no bat Skype.
Not like in that one Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, the Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yeah.
Where where they have the timing all off, where it's kind of implied that it might be in the past, but it's like, no, it's present day.
Yeah.
And it's like this girl who was born in 1974, which would be 4 years before I was born, is like in her 20s.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, suspension of disbelief. maybe they just didn't have the right kind of cars for this. And all of a sudden, the guy takes out his phone and he's like recording, like live streaming with it. And you're like, what the fuck?
This is terrible.
She's fucking 4 years older than me.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I need to take better care of my body because holy shit. This girl's over here like fucking Trey Songz, whatever his name is, with her hot, skinny body, and I'm over here just like this fat 40-year-old blob. Just like, Jesus.
Oh, man. Yeah, I just been watching a lot of horror TV shows. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Channel Zero.
No, I saw you mention it somewhere online.
It's actually pretty fucking cool. It's a sci-fi original, but it's like they take creepypasta, which sounds like a shitty premise for a show, and turn it into season-long shows.
Yeah,
but
I
they
wasn't
like
gonna say anything. But
add a fuckload of like plot development and make it really gory and like it's like psychological horror and not just jump scares and shit too. So, but there's like weird fucking creatures. I don't want to like spoil anything. There's some
you just
crazy
spoiled it all.
Some crazy shit going on. That's what I'm gonna do when I get home. Probably watch an episode of that and like pass out.
It was Trey Songz. See, I know.
Oh, see, I remember people talked about like Trey Songz and Keith Sweat were but just both names that like I don't remember.
Chainsaw 3D is like it had such good ideas for a movie. I bet you the original screenplay was okay. It's still a terrible movie, but it's an amazing terrible movie. I love it.
I barely remember it because I remember when I was watching all those with my friend.
It's the worst one in the series, but I'd still give it a solid B.
Yeah, I remember the first one a lot, which was fun.
Yeah,
first one's just fun.
Yeah, I mean it's evil. It's just constant laughing at violence, but
it wasn't as like.
It's not gory.
It was weird. Like the original Last House on the Left was shot almost with that creepy comedy.
But it's violent.
Yeah,
like
it's
Last House on the Left. I mean, but it's more like you don't see as much in Chainsaw. Chainsaw is much more like. I mean, you do see some stuff, but things are implied, like the girl being put on the hook. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Getting put on the hook.
Yeah, spoilers from that movie in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I really liked about it, because I thought I was like so worried, because I watched part of the remake of Last House on the Left, and I was like, I hate this. And then like I watched the original because someone made me. Yeah. And it was actually watchable, and I was like,
it's good. It's weird. It's very strange.
It's super
movie.
weird.
It's
Wes
not
Craven's like first film, maybe.
Yeah. And it's very strange. I do think Chainsaw is a better movie. I think it's a leaner, tighter, just nastier little.
The ending scene will always be the best.
The second movie I think is edited kind of weird because it feels like it's too long, but there's like complaints like Tobe Hooper didn't get to have the final cut. They cut out a bunch of stuff, and I'm just like, how much longer does this fucking movie need to be?
I know,
but it is dreamlike. It's very surreal. It has all the Tom Savini effects. It's got lots of like outright comedy in it. It has Dennis Hopper in it.
A chainsaw battle.
Dueling chainsaws. So that's what I'm saying. It's fantastic. And when you cut it up in chunks with a chainsaw, then the movie's not that. The movie's really enjoyable. And then I like the third movie because it's. I will say this: it's harder to watch if you watch the original R-rated version. If you watch the unrated version, which they've released alongside the R-rated version, it makes a lot more sense. But the third movie, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, it just feels like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but with Leatherface. It has that feel because it was done by New Line Cinema. Yeah. So it has that, but the MPAA had such a hard-on against New Line for the Freddy movies and against Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Because the first movie dodged. I think it's unrated, so it dodged having a rating. Yeah. I think it probably might be R-rated. I don't know what it is now. But
correction from earlier. I just realized Will Brandon's in Poo to Eat, right? Pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Correction. All right.
Good job. But then Chainsaw 2 was put out unrated because it would have gotten an X rating for all the gore.
Okay.
And stuff. So then they had a hard on for it. They went after it. So it's like really, really uber edited really badly. Yeah. So then when you watch unrated, it's not as bad. It still doesn't make sense because they have weird editing decisions. So it's like it'd be like Ken Forey's dead. Wait, Ken Forey's back alive. I don't know why. Okay. But that's okay. And then like 4 is like try to make it grimy again, but the really nasty one with Renee Zellweger and
That was a really weird Matthew
McConaughey, and he's
yeah.
amazing in it. It's fantastic.
I thought it was really bad, but
It's
then again,
amazing.
maybe I should watch
But
it again.
think about it though, like it's bad in a great way. Like
I
him
love
kicking
watching-
around with that shit, with
Yeah, it was so
that
weird.
leg and stuff. It's amazing.
was
She's
really
not good in it. She actually does kind of a bad job acting in it.
Yeah, I
But
don't
he's
think
fantastic.
was that like her first movie, or did she?
Yeah, probably. Or one of them.
One of them.
But their management tried to stop it from happening.
Yeah,
But then the remakes, they're okay for what they are.
I loved
except-
the remake with Jessica Biel in it.
Yeah.
And the other ones
I
were
just
just
I still get pissed off they played Sweet Home Alabama in the beginning of it. It's like, so the movie's supposed to take place in Texas, but
Yeah.
because you want to make sure let us know it takes place in the 70s, they listen to Sweet Home Alabama in the beginning.
I
Like
loved
before
it
the song even came out.
because the joke that we got out of it was, if you go see Leonard Skinner live, you're gonna get killed with chainsaws. But that was just because we hated rednecks in high
Yeah.
school.
But
And I like Skinner now. But when
I
I was
despise Skinner.
younger, when I was younger, I fucking
Skinner.
hated them.
God,
Like-
if I had a time machine,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd find a way to get them all on the plane.
We would all.
They
Shit.
suck. Suck bad. But anyway. But
Yeah.
no,
Sorry.
but Sweet Home Alabama didn't even come out the year that movie takes place. It came out a year later.
Yeah.
So they're listening to a song that doesn't exist,
Mhm.
that sucks, about Alabama in Texas.
Yeah. In high school, they'd always try to get us to play that song, and we would just be like, all right, we'd play like the chords and stuff, and we get the chorus, and we'd just be like, fuck you, Alabama, and then just like piss them off.
It's like
It
the
was fun.
Knockabouts version.
Yeah.
No, that's like what, Shit Home Alabama?
Shit Home Alabama. That's a lot better. They were cleverer than
Hey,
us.
we should play that at the end of this. We'll play
Shit Home Alabama.
their version of it,
Yeah.
their interpretation of it.
Pour one out for Leatherface.
But those are, I mean, that's what I'm saying. And then they're good, but I mean, even the prequel thing, it had some funny stuff. I don't remember much about it, but the prequel to the remake.
He was just like, the way he was represented in the first one.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like he got like, when it got too suspenseful, and then it just made him boring.
Well, most of the movies get too. All of them feel like they're a little long. They
Yeah.
start feeling a little long.
The
I think-
remake with the girl, with the girl like grabbed the gun out of her vagina at the end and shot herself, was one of the coolest openings to any horror movie I've ever seen now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are all a little bit long.
They
By
get-
the
they
end of
feel-
it, you're like, can he just fucking like chainsaw them?
But
in
it's
half?
because they're so about just being grueling, you know, and that's what the first one is, all that. But it's so shot so well that it doesn't feel that way.
Does he ever pull a Bruce Campbell and chainsaw somebody like crotch up or head down, like straight down?
Possibly.
I don't remember.
I'm trying to think. There's been so many chainsawings.
Yeah, because usually like an arm at a time or some fucked up shit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Leatherface is pretty awesome. Seems like a nice guy.
It's been a good podcast about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But yeah, so
But 3D's not. It's not a good movie in any way whatsoever, and I can't recommend it. But I love it.
we need to figure out how to print some 3D glasses into a GAD zine and then have some 3D looking pages like with the
That'd be
red
nice.
and blue.
We could do that. That actually wouldn't be hard. Make a 3D cover.
Yeah,
That's doable. Not for issue 20,
not for issue 20.
but we might be able to do that.
Eventually.
That wouldn't be that hard to do.
Yeah, I want to make 3D glasses a thing again.
I want to make 3D porn.
And the plexi discs.
Just
Yeah.
do LSD and then
3D
look at
porn.
the
Yeah.
adzine, and it looks like it's 3D.
I mean, it'll make it better anyway,
It'll be yeah.
and cheaper. Cheaper for us.
Yeah.
You do LSD, it's cheaper for us.
Dude, if I looked at Brian Berg's art on LSD, I would like probably die. Just the way the way he colors things and like the strokes, dude, I just feel like it would just endlessly engulf my brain.
I love his art because that's Brian Burks. Who does. We've talked about him on here before. He's the one who does a lot of cover art for stuff. Puts on the punk rock art shows.
Dude,
all the time.
he's working his ass off.
But he
lately.
works
he's
his
going
ass
to
off.
so many shows.
But that's
like, art shows. And
I really appreciate him because if my life hadn't been derailed by an interest in music, that's kind of a direction I probably would have seen myself going. Is like focusing on art. Our art styles aren't the same, but it's like that's where it would have been probably. Is like if I had not like started playing guitar really badly, I probably would just hyper focused on doing art and then just try to do that, make a go out of it that way. So it's nice to see him doing it because he does it so well, and he does it better than I would have. But I'm saying it's good to see somebody doing that because it almost like proves like when I was in high school, it's like you could totally do that, and he does it, and it's like, see, I'm telling you,
he does it so well, like, and because he painted the Misfits thing, right? At the art show. And one of my favorite photos of all time, and one of my favorite live moments of all time, was when the singer Skeptic stuck his head through the hole in the Misfits thing. They take a picture with the Fiend thing.
Well, that's it.
And was screaming through it on the other side. I was like,
no, it's amazing, and it got used for a flyer.
Oh yeah.
After that, but that's it.
Solid.
But Brian is good at his art. He has a specific style, but he's not trapped in that style. Like if you want him to whip up something in that style, he can do it, but then he also has other stuff, so
he can do like, and he's doing a lot of digital work now too.
It's really good to see him trying different things, but he does album cover art. That's what I'm saying. So he's done a lot of that, and you know, like a lot of it came out around the same time. There's one issue of the zine where it's just like a bunch of his shit, just like I'm trying to put together pages, and I'm just like, how much Brian Burke stuff am I going to put in this issue?
Yeah, he did the Random Conflict EPs.
Did Random Conflict, and then there was like did Murder of Jane Crow, and then there was like another one.
And that Random Conflict EP got some great reviews from, was it Maximum Rock and
No,
Roll?
it was Razor Cake. From the exact same reviewer that hated the second Tiger Hellside. Like, despised it.
The review of the Tiger Hellside record was so much fun to read. But they were like thoroughly enjoyed Random Conflict.
Yeah, just love Random Conflict. But
that's the Ruin Nation EP.
It's a great album.
It's one of the best like releases of last year. I would say that, and the Skeptics record, which Brian Burke's got a shout out on I think the record liner notes too.
Yeah, I think so.
And one of the wives of one of the members, I think, did the cover art.
He did like alternate cover art or something, because I know they were sharing it online. They were showing it Brian Burke's did. He did like some alternate cover art.
Ooh, I want to see that. I'll have to find that.
I'll go seek it out.
The Skeptics record, Abusements. Their record, that was my other favorite from last year.
Yep. Very good. We're gonna have at least DJ Fake Name on here sometime. The singer of the Abusements.
Awesome.
He's supposed to. That's one of our plans for this year, is to actually have more guests on. We kind of had a run where we kept doing that, but we're gonna start.
Yeah, it just hasn't organically happened in a while.
Yeah. At the very least, I mean, he's all the way in Montgomery, so we'll have to try to like. He wants to Skype or something. We probably won't meet. But maybe do something a little bit better than setting up a phone in the middle of the room like we did with poor Tommy.
That was a good podcast, though.
Yeah, but at the very least,
Tommy didn't know what we were saying half the time.
But at the very least, we could like record an interview and then play it during our podcast or something like that. We can do that.
Have the Beastmans played Copper Top yet?
They've played Huntsville. I don't know if they played Copper Top, but I know they've played Huntsville.
If
we could ever meet with them out there, that would be something. But it's not worth them driving out to see us. Yeah, because that is a drive.
Maybe we can get a show with them and then like open forum or something, and then be like, do like a short little.
Yeah, they actually invited me to come out, and I wasn't able to. I think the time they wanted me to come out is already passed. I think it was at the end of the year. I can't remember. They actually invited me to come out to maybe like write a piece in the zine about them and stuff, but I just hadn't. With all the car stuff and everything, it wasn't happening. So I didn't even I bet you I didn't even tell them sorry I couldn't make it. I'm a piece of shit. I need to.
People forget.
I need to shoot him a message and let him know, hey, I'm not gonna make it. A few weeks ago.
That time ago.
Yeah. Hey. Oops. So. But yeah, we need to do that. Also, we're supposed to go sometime. Check out the space for that gasoline tank uses.
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen Gasoline Tank.
You need to see Gasoline Tank.
Yeah, and I need to see them and Swiss Army Brat. There's a lot of bands I need to see.
Yes. You do. All right, Jesse's gonna go piss.
Speaking of reviews and yes.
Speaking of piss.
Didn't we have an interview?
Did I just make this pop when I said piss? Probably. Okay. Yeah, we were recently interviewed online.
Yeah.
We were interviewed by it was Vinyl Lollipops, and you can also see the interview on the on Facebook page for Rock Rage Radio Alabama. You should check out our interview, Tiger Hellside, that is. Tiger Hellside's interview. It was great. We said smart stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I recommend going out there and smashing that like, slapping that follow.
Hitting that share.
Yeah, hit share like Sonny grew a pair. I don't know what the...
Do you believe in life after love?
I don't believe in life after hitting a tree while on skis.
Ooh. That was a rough one, Sonny.
Sonny didn't want to share. But yeah, you can check out our interview there. It's Rock Rage Radio Alabama and Vinyl Lollipops. And I recommend liking both those pages.
Yeah, they're
because
solid.
There's interviews with lots of other really good local bands and stuff on there, and lots of stuff to check out. It's highly recommended. And now I'm gonna go take a piss.
It's Adam's piss time.
And so, Jesse, what do you have to talk about?
Piss in this can right here.
Well, hopefully we're going to be making some more music. We just have to start getting together after the show. Yeah. I'm hoping to do some more like weird like post-punk and like more like
experimental noise.
Yeah, like angry goth post-punk, like Bauhaus meets fucking like I don't know Joy Division shit with some Public Image Limited in the background. So I'm hoping that's what we're gonna be working on. Another little side band.
Yes, the Horny Cowboys.
Is that what you guys want to call? Is that what that is?
Well, when we do our cowboy themed.
I don't know if that should be the cowboy themed band, but we could be like goth cowboys or some shit. I don't know, man. Fucking.
We're definitely doing that project where Adam and I are gonna play horns, and then you're gonna probably either play drums or bass. But
we'll all be at our forte.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, you can actually play trumpet though.
Not.
The Horny Cowboys, because we're gonna be playing horns.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I get the pun now.
Yeah.
I thought it was just about fucking.
Yeah. Hopefully our listeners get it now. All right.
Oh yeah.
Adam's back.
Yeah.
While I went to go pee.
No, we talked about stuff.
Sure.
He told me what the Horny Cowboys is about. I didn't know you guys were playing horns.
Can you see the piss stain on the front of my pants?
No, because you're wearing like fucking piss wicking pants. Right? Just
Piss wicking pants.
Flies right off like your non-slip fucking.
That's my hip hop stage name actually.
Piss wicking pants.
Piss wicking pants.
That is
right,
pretty
so
solid.
what else are we gonna talk about? We were to wrap this up.
What is that? Snake Church.
Snake Church. Yeah. They're a really great band, and I'm going to play some of their music on GADcast Radio.
Yeah. So where are they from? Alabama.
They're from
Alabama.
Snake Church, Alabama.
Snake Church, Alabama. Population
Snakes.
6. I don't know how many members are in their band. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like
they're from Snake Mountain.
Oh, yeah, right. Snake Mountain, Alabama.
They got more tracks than you can handle.
I think they have 3.
Okay, population.
Well, I have never been able to hold 3 snakes at once. I've held 2 at once.
Yeah,
but they were ball pythons. Those things are like slithery puppies.
What's funny is that their Bandcamp is Snake Church Alabama. Bandcamp. It's like
awesome.
Snake Church AL. So it's like we were like Snake Church Alabama. I look down like at their on my phone. I'm looking at their Bandcamp. It's like Snake Church AL.
Yeah.
That's not where they're from though.
Okay, I thought that might have been a real place. Yeah, I don't
Snake
know.
Church Alabama.
Oh well, like fucking. I know like Snake Churches they originated here, right? Like this, or at least this was like their the zenith of Snake Church.
Yes.
The fucking
Well, we might not have invented it, but we perfected it.
Yes, yeah. If anybody did stupider shit, it was us in here, fucking Alabama, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the famous dude of that famous picture of that crazy dude holding the snakes is Alabama for sure.
Yeah.
And I've had like some friends say that they had like older family members that were in snake handling churches. It was like freaky as shit when they were kids.
And again, my mother-in-law was in the City Confidential about the snake handlers.
Oh, that's badass.
Famous. I'm married into celebrity.
Famous. Yeah.
I also used to drive a Chevy Celebrity.
I have some friends that were on Intervention.
Nice.
Not Intervention.
Like,
It was like, yeah, I think it was. Well, there was a special about Meth Mountain, like Sand Mountain.
being intervented, or were they being intervened?
There
or
were
were they,
well,
were they the ones
somebody
that were
did
intervening?
like a episode. I don't know if it was Intervention, but it was about Meth Mountain. It was a special, and they were being interviewed about like how much meth was in like the mountain, and they were, I think, like because they had insider knowledge because of past decisions.
It's gonna be a great podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy's editing skills will either come in handy or we'll just
Damn us all.
well, it'll come in Andy.
It'll come in Andy. It always comes back to coming. It always comes back
to coming.
Always comes back to come. She'll be
Starts
coming
with come and
around
ends
the
with
mountain.
come.
When she comes, it's like, well, all right, well, I guess we're about done, right?
Yes. Remember that tax season is coming up. First day that you'll be able to file will be January 28th. Of course, right now the government is still shut down, so
partially.
partially shut down. But yes, remember to file your tax returns on time, or file an extension by April 15th. And if you need someone to do your taxes, there's nobody better than Andrew Smith, tax preparer, 414 South 4th Street, Gadsden, Alabama, 35901. You can reach me at my office at 256-547-8104. I'm also now a registered representative of HD Vest Financial Services, so yes,
true.
hit me up. All right.
Yeah, don't hit me up for shit.
Andy Smith, you can account on him. Well, actually, he can account for you, but
There's no accounting for his taste. He does good work.
He's the account Dracula. I don't know. I'm running out of account puns.
But yes. But throw some business his way.
Yeah.
Not
Just-
that he needs it because he's already so successful.
Yeah, just because the government shut down, you still want to get them as quickly as possible. So go ahead and get your taxes fucking done.
Yeah.
Of course, they just moved the goalpost. It was, we got to fund this wall, and now it's like, we got to fund this wall, and y'all have to stop calling us racist, and then we'll open it back up. I was like, Lindsey Graham, shut the fuck up. But
Yeah, taxes.
Taxes. It's a fun time of the year. It's my favorite time of the year.
my favorite time of the year is trying to find all the information and remember what I did the past year, and then it takes fucking ever. But
if you're just more organized and have everything
once I get my shit,
filed in a filing cabinet like I do.
Andy has done my taxes for several years, and he was very quick with it. And it wasn't like H&R Block where they're like, here's 3 hours of your life gone. It took like 15 minutes, then we played music.
Yeah, those guys drag ass at H&R Block. I'll get it done quick.
No,
I'm
they
not going to
they-
charge you a bunch of money. if
Yeah,
it's
they
just
charge
real
off the
simple.
dick at H&R.
Yeah.
A little pricey.
But yeah.
Taxes.
Taxes,
Yeah.
fun.
Death and taxes.
I enjoy doing it. So.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep.
We're back.
No. All right. Any last words?
Please don't kill me. That's what my real last words would be.
My last words are, please fucking kill me. All right. Well,
All right.
Gadcast out.
Big wheels, sing their songs about the Southwest. Alabama's a dead zone once again. Sarge!
I've been living with the bones of who I used to be. Putting my trust in people, that was my first mistake. I put my faith in punk, I put my faith in the scene, I put my faith in a girl, and I forgot everything! I forgot everything!